started, and today we're going to talk about the Evil Horde. Now, I know many of you guys have heard me say before that Hordak is not my favorite. He's just not. Even though he is kind of cool and like people like him, there's just some things about him I don't like too much. So let's go ahead and talk about my disdain for Hordak first, then we'll jump into the Evil Horde. So Hordak, as you guys know, in the cartoon was actually blue. So he actually was blue, something like this right here. And a lot of people confuse Hordak for Skeletor. In fact, I've known a lot of my friends and stuff, they see this who aren't in the He-Man and they go, oh, is that Skeletor? I'm like, no, it's not Skeletor. That is Hordak. And that's one reason why I don't like him, is because he just looks too much like he could possibly be Skeletor if you don't know the difference. And so it's like, oh, no, he's not Skeletor, even though in the cartoon he's blue and his face is white, so it looks almost skull-like. He's not. A second thing why I don't like Hordak is he's got the red teeth. And when I was a kid, I was like, what's with the red teeth? Why has he got the red teeth? And of course, you guys know also that the land shark also has red teeth too. But it's just always kind of confused me, you know, what's the deal with the red teeth? Now, I did look it up because I was curious, and there actually are creatures that can have red teeth, believe it or not. They get too much iron into their teeth, and it turns them red, which gives it that red teeth look. So it is possible that you can have iron-rich teeth that will turn them red, which I thought was kind of interesting. So technically, you could have a red-toothed villain or a red-toothed animal or creature. It just means that they have iron, and a lot of iron in their teeth, and it turns it red. And I guess it's kind of funny because Alien, as you know, that movie Aliens, an Alien, they have teeth that were made of metal. So, you know, you just think it's a different type of tooth going on there, which makes the red teeth. So, but I do like the Horde. The Horde, I thought it's always been cool, even though I'm not a huge fan of Hordak himself. So in this video, I'm going to talk a lot about the Horde and all the Horde features and all those other cool things that go along with it. Now, let's go ahead and look at the chat really quick. Hey, Rapper, thanks for joining us. I appreciate it. And I'm probably pronouncing this wrong. El Tendra's channel, thanks for joining us too. Pedro, thanks for being here. Curtis, I appreciate you being here too. Andrew, thanks for coming, man. Hello to you as well. All right, so I always thought that the Evil Horde was based off of Universal Monsters. Now, hear me out here for a second. First, we got this red-toothed villain, and he's very vampire-like, so he'd be like the Dracula of the series, right? So that's kind of what I was thinking when I first looked at him is, okay, he's the Dracula. Then we have this big old furry beast-type creature. This would be like the Wolfman or something, right? And then we have, let's see, we got Leech. And Leech is like the creature from the Black Lagoon. Oh, he's just coming, you know, crazy thing. And then we have this guy right here. And he's very, like a huge monster too of some sort. Look at his eyeballs lined up. There we go. And then we have, so this is kind of like the alien from Monster, or from Universal Monsters type thing. And then we have, let's see if I can find one I want to pull out. Here we go. Then we have this guy here, and he's made from different parts. So he's like the Frankenstein, if you will, because he's made of different parts and he can, you know, build up different stuff. So when we first had the Horde, that was kind of what we were looking at there. Is that all the main ones? Am I missing somebody? I think those were the main ones we first had when they first came out, when the Horde was first released. Hey, Dean, thanks for being here, man. And so to me, that always reminded me, like I said, Universal Monsters. We got our Dracula, we got our Wolfman, we got our Creature of the Black Lagoon, we have our Alien, we have our Frankenstein, and there you go. And so what's cool is some of the other figures they added, some of them were just concept figures, was like the Mummy figure, which was so cool. Let me show them to you here. So we got this guy called Reptrap, and he's the mummy, which of course was not released originally, but it does fit in with the same storyline of he's one of the Universal monsters. So, and I just love Reptrap. Super 7, thank you. This is really cool. Now, I see someone's putting on their Scorpion Lady. Now, she was not an original figure that was released, but yes, if you take a look at her, she is definitely some sort of monster, right? Here we got this cool lady, and she's got the claws, right? And she snaps, and she was in the cartoon, obviously. But then again, you know, very monstrous looking. So, to me, the Horde was monsters. They were, and as a kid, I used to think monsters were cool, you know, except for the one monster I did not appreciate was Dracula and vampires, which then, of course, feeds into my same thing I was telling you earlier. I'm not a huge fan of Hordak, but he's the one that represents the Dracula type of thing. Now, they also had a witch plan, too, kind of monstrous. So let's take a look here. Then we got, what's her name, Octavia? Is that correct? And look, it's got tentacles. Now, if that's not monstrous, I don't know what is, you know? So again, we got more monster mania. All right, so let's go ahead and just focus on one of these for right now. One of the fun ones, and that is Moduloc. Bum, bum, bum. Now, Moduloc comes with multiple heads and multiple legs and multiple parts, and he's so cool. I tried to make one that was very Filmation-y. Now, in this video, I'm not going to cover any of the Filmation figures that we got from Super 7, even though they are really cool. They did make a really cool Moduloc, and they did make Hordak figures, and we're just going to cover just the Classics version only when we're talking about these. So, sorry about that if you're looking forward looking at the other ones. Let's see. Adam said that Soul Calibur made 50 Masters of the Universe characters. A snake woman called Serpentina. Wow, cool. So this one right here, I tried to make Filmation-y, and in the Filmation version, he has the extra fingers on both sides. So I did that, and I had to actually alter the hands to make this work just right, because we know that usually it has one with two and one with one. Then I had the extra third leg, and I found someone on eBay that was nice enough to sell me an extra leg, so that was cool. So then I wanted to do the monstrosity six-legged one. And this is the one you always make when you're a kid because you want to use all the parts. It's like, how can I use all the parts to make one massive guy with all the heads, the four arms, and everything? So there is my massive Moduloc. He's got it all going on figure. And then I wanted to make the two singles. So here is the green bug-eyed one. And then here is the leftover parts of the crazy doctor-looking one. Now, I had to alter this to make it work right, but the idea is that it's this monstrosity busted up into two different beings, but it only comes with one human torso. So if you want to make a full set, you gotta figure out some other way to make the torso work. So I actually did alter the top of this in order to make that head fit on there, so I could kind of make that cool monstrosity. And it's kind of fun because he's got all the purple parts and very bug-like looking, and then he gets all the humanoid parts. And I used the green because it matched his eyes. I figured green and green. So there you go. Oh, Master Father is so cool. All hail the Evil Horde. So then you're left over with parts. And this kind of reminds me of that movie The Thing, where it has all the creepy parts dragging along, and it transforms different things. And it's a scene where it's the giant thing of meat that it creates. And it's like, oh, you know, and so this always kind of remind me of The Thing. Oh, also I got this extra head right here, and this goes in his hand because for some reason in Filmation he always just kind of carried the extra head around, which was kind of creepy. Boop. There we go. There's his alter ego. Now, one fun thing about this figure, besides all the parts could snap and rearrange, is even the weapon came with a feature where you could pull it apart and make two weapons or one big weapon out of it. So there you go. Or if you had two Modulocs facing different ways, one hand could hold it and you could shoot from both sides at once. And try to shoot the bad guys. So, Moduloc was really cool. And one thing that they did not do, that Mattel didn't do, that was done with the toys, is this does not separate right here between the bottom half and the torso. And in the original toys, it did separate right there. But for some reason, they made that so it did not separate. All right. Let's see. Let's see some of your guys' things. Oh, yes. He-Man Godzilla characters would be cool. See, Dean said, Jay and I made a new game, Superman, Cap America, Magna characters. I still don't know how to play it. See, that's cool, Adam. Awesome Moduloc figure. I have a few of these. Yeah, Moduloc is so cool. Yeah, and Dean said he updated all the characters. So, I'm just going to pick out one Moduloc to represent all of them, and that's going to be this one right here, because it's the Filmation style, even though it's not really Filmation, but it's closest to what the Filmation style would be. And I'll put the other ones back away, and then we'll continue on going through the Evil Horde. And I'll continue to answer your guys' questions as they come up. Now, one thing that was kind of confusing as a kid is if you were going to collect the Evil Horde for some reason, you would end up, you'd end up coming across figures that actually belong in She-Ra, but fit with the Horde. So an example was Catra. Catra is one of the figures that actually was released in the She-Ra line, but she's actually a Horde member. So I actually have her saved with the Horde. Now, because Hordak has those armbands that he likes to wear and have his characters wear them, and you'll see it sometimes. We'll take a snake guy and put a Horde band on him. I wanted to give her a Horde band too, so I stuck it on her thigh. That'd be kind of a cool way to make it fit, because it obviously is not going to fit on her arm. But there she is. There's Catra. And I did give her the red whip from the weapons pack. That way then it matches her red motif. Now, it's funny, when they made Catra, they actually gave her a soft rubber hand, because Mattel was scared of the sharpness of the fingers. So she has one hand that's more solid and one hand that has these soft fingertips. And this actual woman, when I opened her up, she was covered in white powder. And so I had to clean all that white powder off of her. I just cannot get her to line up. But she is a really cool figure. I've always loved the way they did her hair. Now, something else with her is this was a floating piece right here. So you'd find her neck collar floating around. So I put just one little drop of super glue just to keep it in place so it wouldn't flop around all the time. So now that her cape is stuck on this figure. But it used to bother me how it had a point going up, but then it would float away, her cape, and then it looked kind of weird having that space there. So one little drop of super glue fixed all that. All right. So there is a figure I talked about already, and I do want to jump back to it, and that is the Mummy figure. I'm going to go and pull him out now because he's just too cool to wait. I just can't wait to show you guys this. Those who have seen it already, you know where I'm going with this. Is I saw somebody online, they took and made a sarcophagus. Actually, they didn't make it. It came from some kind of mummy set, and they took the mummy figure and they put it inside the sarcophagus and took pictures. And so I asked him, I said, does he really fit inside there? He goes, well, with the lid off and at an angle and half sitting up, and you could put him in there. And it's like, oh, that stinks. So I spent the next year trying to find a sarcophagus to put him in. And I searched everywhere on eBay, trying to find that magical sarcophagus that would fit. And I couldn't find anything that would fit. And so I actually made my own. This is actually, a coffin from the wrestling series of figures, and then I added this head on it from a model set, and then I added some other parts. You see Hordak's piece there, and then I have a snake here, Castle Grayskull, and He-Man changing, and then it says wrap across here. So it's kind of like this is the story of the future, kind of. You can kind of see the He-Man holding his sword aloft, and Castle Grayskull, and the Snake Men symbol, and then the Horde symbol, showing the Horde's going to rule over all that. And so that's kind of, where I was going with this. And obviously, they want to rule the Snake Men and control Castle Grayskull. And the He-Man, where does that come in? That comes into the Slime Pit He-Man. Bum, bum, bum. Because if you can control the slime, you can control the Man of He. And here is He-Man. Inside there is the Slime Pit He-Man. And, of course, I added my extender piece on here to make it work for classics. And for those of you that do want to get an extender piece, find me on Facebook. And what it is a piece right here that I made that goes in between the slime pit and raises it up about that much. And then makes it so that your classic figures can fit inside the slime pit. Now, if you do get the extender from me, it comes already painted and ready to fit. And actually, I'm making one right now. I just finished putting the base coat on it. I got a link in the description so you can see what they look like. And it's pretty cool. That way, then you can put your slime pit He-Man into your slime pit. If you want to use real slime, you can. I just happened to find some string on Amazon that I used and just strung it all up in there for slime. So I didn't want to have slime always running down. I want to display it. So if you guys want to get the extender, find me on Facebook. And the best way to find me is he-bro.com. And if you want to see what they look like, click the link in the description. I got it in there to show you. I think I sell them for like 35 bucks a piece. So it's not too bad. It won't break the bank. And they come painted. All right. And you may have to glue them on. It depends how you want it. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. And this is so cool. Now, I like to use the crowbar when I can. This came from another figure too. So you just stick the crowbar in there and pop this thing open. That's not going to work on this one. There we go. Boom. And there he is. And he actually fits inside there with it closed, which was the key to make this thing all happen. And then I even found this helmet to put on him from Gold Dust. I think that was his name as a wrestler. And so kind of fun to stick the helmet on him to give me more of that kind of look to match. And there you go. Now I did take and 3D print the bottom of this. I just basically stuck this on my scanner because I had to cut this shorter because it was about that much too long when I got it from Amazon. And so then I cut that off, scanned it in, used that scan to create this base. And now he can stand on that base. And then I trim this to match so it fits in there just right and up against the base. And you can see the base has the lip on it. And it just goes right on there like that and seals them right up. And what's cool about it is not only does he fit, but so does his accessories. So I like to do sometimes is, and you've probably seen the videos, is have like Man-at-Arms and team, you know, inside some kind of chasm or something. And they come across this. And they take the pry bars and open it up, and they get attacked by Rat Trap, you know, and so it's kind of fun. And on the back, I have the Horde symbol, so kind of cool. All right, enough with Rat Trap. Even though this took so long to make, holy cow! I spent more time, I think, not just making it, but actually designing and finding parts to fit. So that was really cool. All right, so let's take a look at some other Horde figures. Now, most of you guys probably know that this is like Pixel Dan's favorite figure. And he was a cool toy back in the 80s because he had the blood that ran through him as you push the button on his back. And so here is Megatour. Now, the statue version of him, this came off like a little black head. It looked almost like a fly. It was really strange the way they did it, but it was kind of cool. Now, it's interesting. If you take a look at these legs right here, these look like a figure they were going to make, because he has robotic kind of feet, for the Horde robot. If you take a look, if you wanted to make a Horde robot custom, these are the feet you'd want to use, these legs, to make that custom. So that's kind of cool. They kind of have some parts. Now, with these, they have these pieces here, but I always thought they should have put wings on them instead. If they were to take like Buzz-Off's wings and stick them on there, that would actually be a much better fit for it than those little pieces. If I cared more about this figure, I would have made wings for him already, but he's not that high on my list, so off he goes into the back. Now, another Horde member you probably see looking in the background, and that is Zombie Megatour. Bum, bum, bum. Now, the storyline is that Megatour died and was reanimated, and so he has this scary zombie head, and the Horde took him over. So I took and gave him Horde armor, which makes sense, and I gave him a club because I figured he wouldn't be as good at fighting, so he wouldn't have the giant chain ball, because he was like, oh, he's a zombie. So that's why I gave him the club instead of the ball and chain. And there you go. I figured the ball and chain would be just a little too hard for a zombie to operate. And there is my Horde zombie, which again, another monster, right? And so Megatour reanimated for today. All right. Now, of course, you can see around here, I also have my Horde race, and I have 3 of them because in the 2000X cartoon, they showed 3 of them that were attacking King Grayskull. Now, of course, I believe they showed more than 3 total, but there were 3 that were shooting beams at him. And then this right here is my makeshift play set. You can see I have the monster coming out, and then the mountains in the back. So that's kind of my makeshift play set for the Horde. All right, so let's continue on. So we have Horde Prime. Here is Horde Prime. Now, when we got Horde Prime, he came with a helmet and his face was disguised so you could not see what his face looked like. That was kind of the idea of, nobody knows what Horde Prime looks like. So we had this giant Horde Prime helmet, and they kept it a big secret until the huge reveal when you find out that he looks just like a red Hordak. So you pull this off, it's like, oh, it's red Hordak. So there is my Horde Prime. Now, they did have a custom figure of Horde Prime that he came with an extra head that came from the comics. So if you took, there's my comic Horde Prime. If you took the head that he came with and you put it on, what is this guy's name? Spector, the mighty Spector's body, and then took the scissor guy's loincloth, you would then have the Horde Prime figure. So there you go. So let's go ahead. I'm actually going to put him away because he's not really even canon. Now, another fun guy is this one here. And this guy was never released when we were kids. And he's got the cool wings that we saw with the DC figures for Hawkman and Hawkgirl. And it's so crazy. He has these giant wings because you see other people that fly in Eternia and they just don't have the giant bird wings like this. So it's kind of cool. I actually really like this idea and concept a lot. And he's got bird-like legs. And he has, of course, his weapons so he can capture Eternia little animals. And so there you go. So you got the furry wrists right there, wrist cuffs, wristbands. Ooh. Now, a fun one that I always thought was cool was Dragstore. Now, Dragstore originally was a figure that turned into a figure you actually, with a ripcord in him, you'd pull the ripcord and this tire would spin, this big old heavy tire, and you'd put his elbows forward like this, and he had little slide spots on his elbow, and then you'd put his legs up a little bit so they wouldn't scrape on the ground, and then you'd put him down, and he would take off with the wheel and roll down your hard floor, and it was kind of a fun thing, and you could use him like a battering ram to knock over other figures that are standing up, and he was an evil guy. And so they remade him. They put his tire kind of in a weird place, so you couldn't really customize him. I was hoping it was a little bit higher, because I was planning on putting a wheel in here. And if it was up here, you could probably do it, but being it's halfway in his crotch area, trying to add that wheel would not work. I kind of wish they would have made a special torso for him, where that would not turn at the waist, and that it actually had a wheel that would spin. That would be a really cool throwback. But again, as we know, they used a lot of repeat pieces, and so that concept of making a wheel spin inside of him just would not work. Now, hopefully we'll see this figure again when it comes out in Origins, and they will have the spinning wheel, hopefully. That would be cool. And he comes with a really cool crossbow that's very motor-looking like. Let's see if I can find it. There we go. Motorhead Crossbow. So, kind of a fun one. Now, his storyline is he was actually a humanoid that was transformed by Hordak in one of Hordak's many transfigurations of other people. So, There you go. I think it's his axe thing too. All right. So speaking of Hordak, we all know that Hordak has a giant creature he rides, right? The Manosaurus or something like that, where it's like a manta ray bug. And so I actually made one of those. Let me show it to you if it will not fall over. Don't fall. Hooray, it didn't fall. And I actually took the head from the original toy and I altered it so it would fit onto these parts. And these are actually from a Lego action figure line that I took apart and rebuilt out of a couple different figures to create this. And since when Hordak rides him, he can't have his cape because his cape will block the view of it. Here, I'll put the camera so you guys can see what it looks like. So, and I thought it'd be fun to add some cool features. So I added this tail like a scorpion, and it actually does shoot. So that's kind of fun. Let's go ahead and shoot. There we go. So you can actually use it to attack some of the Masters of the Universe. And so that's kind of a fun little throwback. And then, of course, taking all different pieces, making the legs and stuff. So there is my Manosaurus. And I wanted to make sure there was controls for him to hang on to, because in the toy, these were connected to the arms. And when you move these, the arms would move too to capture figures in these arms right here. Let's see, is there a He-Man sitting around somewhere? He's too far away. I'll just grab her. She has claws anyway. And you can pick up figures using those Manosaurus arms and scoop them right up. So I wanted to duplicate that same feature. Now they're not connected, but you know, you could still move them and pretend like they're connected if you want to. But so there you go. And these also can shoot too. You could put these in here and have flying bug darts, which of course is kind of very Horde-like too, because it's buggy. So there you go. There's my giant Manosaurus. And I kind of wish they would have made one of these for classics. But since they didn't, I had to make my own. So there you go. At first I used a different head, but the head just looked weird. So that's why I decided to go with using the original head. And I didn't alter the head. I altered the piece that goes into the head. That way then I wouldn't actually damage the original head. Now I did get this head off eBay, and you can see it's got like scratch marks and stuff on the eyes. I didn't go back and repaint those, but anyway, I think that's a pretty cool thing from the ride and the battle. It does like to, the joints like to give out all the time on it, so it is kind of a pain sometimes using him. I have been tempted to make a second one and just kind of glue all the joints, but that really defeats the purpose, or at least some of the joints. Let's see. Let's take a look at your questions now. Wow, you guys got a lot of stuff. Let's see. All right. So let's go ahead and continue on. We know that Moduloc was lonely. Oh, I'm so lonely. So he made himself a robot, and his robot was this guy right here. And it has two pieces you can do, and he actually came with two torsos, two that were different, so you can actually do something cool. You can merge them. You can make one giant guy, and if you want to, you could actually merge them together and make a giant mega Moduloc robot guy, half and half. So it's kind of fun that he actually made robot parts that work with his parts too. And so these are the two that I kind of put together. I thought it'd be kind of fun to give him 6 legs that are all the same. And for some reason, these just don't sell for very much. You can actually buy them right now pretty inexpensively. So if you wanted to buy lots of these parts to make your own robot pieces, they're actually not too much, believe it or not. So there you go. And of course I made all different versions of them. I made the single standing legs too. Actually, I think this guy's the same guy. I made the same guy twice, but he's the standard one that comes in the package that way, so that's why he's that way. So there you go. You go ahead and set a separate one back in there. All right, so let's set him aside. With 6 legs, he's really stand. Now, this guy, I've gone through a lot with him because he obviously has more than one form. He has the regular form and the 2000X form. So I wanted to make sure I gave the 2000X form its due justice. So here's my 2000X version of him. And you can see he's got the 2000X head that has the yellow casing around him. I actually used the armor from the 2000X statue and also the waist armor from that as well. So you can see kind of how that fits on there. It's kind of a mess. And when I've tried to make this in the past, I've actually destroyed one doing it. And since I destroyed one doing it, the fur was just matted like crazy. You can see the difference in this fur. It even looks different colors almost from trying to make that fit. And by the time you get the hot water on there to get it apart, it just takes the color out. Which is funny because the hair on this one already had the wrong color anyway. If you bought the 2000X hair set, this now matches because it got discolored trying to use the hot water. So I made another version, which is my hairless version of him. And here he is. And it's funny is because the hair is so thick on his body that this armor actually fits over the top of another set of armor. And so I went ahead and put the armor from Horde Prime on there because it didn't have the same printed sculpt on here this does in the front, so I could add his armor onto it. And so here is my hairless version of him as well, which I think it came out pretty cool. I used Ular shorts on him, so it still had furry shorts. And so there is my 3 versions of that guy. Yeah, the fur on the guy, JB, just always was a pain. Even as a kid, I remember, especially if you got slime on it or something else, it was always a hassle. All right, here is the rock guy that Hordak killed off right away. Now, it's kind of funny is when you watch the 2000X cartoon, you see this guy come up, and he's this big mammoth rock guy. Oh, huge and, opposing and just so cool. And you just know he's just a force to be reckoned with. And then he tells Hordak that, he has good counsel or whatever, and Hordak good, and he blasts him on the pieces, and that's the end of his storyline. But everyone liked this guy so much, the fan base, like, hey, we want that figure anyway. So then we got him, and I think he's cool. But, he would not be the only rock guy in the planet, so I did make a custom of him. And here is my custom, the second rock guy. And this guy doesn't have the gold-colored Horde symbols and stuff, and I cleaned off the shield with some acetone to take that off there as well. And then I made him a 3D hammer out of it. It looks like it's made out of the same material. But what's funny is if you look at these, they just look ever so. I guess you know what? I thought I used a different figure, but I didn't. I guess I used the real one for this. But you can just see, and then I used the head right here from Doomsday Build-A-Figure, and just stuck the head on there, and it just matched nicely. And it just really goes good, like he is a creature with the head. So there is my custom of him too. All right, looks like you guys are fighting over whether it's red or blue for Stratos. So that's funny. I always like the blue backpack with the red wings. No, wait. Yeah. And then I'd put the... Wait a sec. Is that the one? Nope. Actually, I take that back. It was the red backpack with the blue wings. Yeah, that's what I said, right? That always looked really cool. And I like that because then he put the blue weapons in his backpack and it didn't look too weird, but it looked cool because it offset for his other pieces and other parts. All right. Now for the Kudarov figure. And that is Shadow Weaver. Shadow Weaver! And Shadow Weaver, as you guys know, is like, for some reason, one of those most expensive figures because she only came... I'm not going to put that on. She only came as a collector in a... you had to buy the whole entire line in order to get her as a special figure. And so if you didn't purchase the whole entire shebang, you couldn't get her. And a lot of people didn't want some of the figures that were included in the line. I think the Star Sisters were included in the same line too. And so a 3-pack of Star Sister figures, you had to buy that and eat those costs as well. So there you go. But Super 7 did make a new one that's really cool looking. So if you want one of these, you can get the Super 7 one, and it's actually pretty comparable. And of course, she did come with this book that doesn't open, but it is kind of cool too. And you can see it's supposed to be Shadow Weaver's face or some kind of Shadow Weaver type idea. And of course, I think her name originally was Light Spinner, which is kind of funny that she would go from light to shadow. I mean, it's quite the drastic change, but I guess a lot of times you see that with superhero arcs where, you know, how good they... Oops. Sorry about that. Running out of battery power. I've been talking too long. Let me plug in my charger really quick. There we go. Where we will see these superhero archetypes, and it's like almost the level of goodness they have becomes their level of evilness. Is my camera still working? Okay. Hold on. I think I might have lost my feed. Hold on a minute, you guys. I guess it is going. Just seems a little behind. Okay, let me go ahead and keep going then. So another guy we got from Super 7 is this guy right here. And what's cool about this guy is he's just like those little toys when you were a kid that you can take and change the face on it. And so you can make different facial expressions. You know, and so it's kind of funny. I wish the nose would have rotated too. That'd been kind of fun too. But just the top and the bottom rotate. But still, it's pretty cool. Now, I have a friend, my friend Brian, he actually put LEDs in here, and it looks really cool. He did a really good job on it. And, of course, this part right here is replaceable. You can put the beam on there or have one that looks more Filmation-y. And they have, I believe, two versions, one of the broken wire and one of the fixed wire. I think I have the fixed wire version. I don't see my broken wire anywhere. But anyway, I think in the cartoon he had the broken wire. But there you go. There is this guy, and I forget his name, so if you know his name... Oh, Dial a Mug. Thank you. Dial a Mug of Coffee. All right. Now, you notice Dial Mug's color is like a light gray, and that light gray is for a certain reason, and that is Horde Troopers. I haven't even got the Horde Troopers yet. I mean, I still have a lot of figures up here, and the Horde is just massive. I don't even have the duplicates on here. I have just the singles. I put the other ones that were the same figure back, and you can see the Horde is already a pretty massive force. Oh, I forgot this guy too. There we go. And I gave him regular hands. He's not stuck with only scissor hands anymore. So we have a Psychop, which was kind of cool. He was based on the idea of a Micronaut. That's why he has the clear chest and the silver head, which was kind of fun. And I guess Jeff Johns is the one that developed this figure. And again, he usually has giant scissor hands, like Edward Scissorhands for hands. But I decided it'd be kind of cool to give him regular silver hands so he could actually do stuff. Now, it's funny, his legs are fur like Beastman. And, oh yeah, I love the Micronauts too. They are my favorite, Jay. And so there we go. And it would have been fun to actually see this guy not transformed by Hordak into a machine man. Let's see if I got everybody out. And of course we have the gummy bear version of Hordak. I am Gummy Bear Hordak. Okay, it's supposed to be that he's supposed to be, they call him the spirit of Hordak, but really he was made for communications, for a little communication device that had the red Hordak pop up there that was clear. If you get a red light put underneath him, it's kind of fun. A really bright white light. Now, I did a whole video just on Hordak, so if you guys want to watch that video, you can. But I'll just sum it up really quick. And that is... Where is that Hordak? I guess I won't sum it up really quick. There you go. See how fast that was? I'm already done. I must have threw him in a different box to show you guys. All right. So another cool custom idea that I did was I added suction cups to him, so you can actually stick to glass. I can stick him on a mirror or a window, as opposed to how it normally comes, which is like this. And you could see that they did this and made it look kind of slimy, which is kind of a cool idea. Like he's, you know, these slime pods that suck someone's brain or life soul, or whatever it may be. But as we were a kid, we had that button on the back we'd push, and his sucker face would actually stick to things. And I remember as a kid just having him stick to the bathroom mirror quite often or something else. Now, in the back of the box, they show him with his sucker on the back of Man-at-Arms' back, and Man-at-Arms is kind of arched over him like this while he's just sucking the life force out of him. But that never stuck to a figure. It used to always bother me because the figure had, you know, all the muscles on there, and so the suction cup could never stick onto a figure. I wish they just made one figure that was Blob Man or something that he actually could stick to. But anyway, I will leave out the non-suction cup one. I did give him 2 armbands. I stole the armbands from the other one. So there you go. And we'll just set him over here. And I think we'll start getting into the Horde Troopers now. So I think I got most of the Horde guys out of here already. Oh, here he is. I knew I saw him somewhere. Okay, here is my ultimate Hordak. And this is actually Buzzsaw Hordak and Spinblade Hordak in one. Spinblade? No, it's not his name. Okay, you guys post for me what this figure's called that has the spinning parts on it. I know it's not Spinblade. I know I got the wrong name for him. Couldn't Beastman control most of the Horde? That is an interesting question. Is that the question you're asking? I don't know if Beastman could control most of the Horde. Maybe he could control the ones that are beast-like, like maybe Grizzlor, but that might be it. I wonder if Merman could control her. That would be kind of interesting, being she's a fish lady. That'd be kind of cool if Merman could control her. Kind of a fun storyline. But I think for the other ones, being they're not actual animal beasts, they're monsters, I don't know if you can actually control a lot of them. Now, we did see him control Manny Faces in his beast form, so that was kind of cool. All right, so does anybody know the name of this Hordak that has parts that spins? If you can, post it on there so I can list what he's supposed to be called. But I basically made this so it could spin, because originally it was too tight so it wouldn't. What I did was I sanded off the red paint on the front, and then I made the hole a little bit larger so you could add weapons on there and spin them. Oops, like you're supposed to. And normally he came with the gold chrome armor, and so his skin color was different, a different shade of gray. So when I put it on this figure, I had to paint this gray different to match. And so what's cool about this is he has 2 action features. There is the buzzsaw for the Buzzsaw Hordak. And for those that watch my other video, I like to add a flame on there. Flame on. And then once the flame's on there, then you can add the buzzsaw to it. It's like the buzzsaw is just flaming out of his chest. There we go. And what a cool thing that looks like now. Now, instead of this little blade coming out, it looks way more like he is ready for battle. Hurricane Hordak. Thank you. I think that was Jeff, right? Thank you, Jeff. Whew. That's funny. Memory starts going, you guys. It's a scary thing. My wife always laughs at me about it. All right, so let me go ahead and swap this Hordak out for the. Actually, you know what? I already got a Hordak sitting on the beast, so I don't want 2 Hordaks on the field at the same time. You got to go back. Hurricane, Sawblade, Hordak. All right. So, oh, this box is heavy. The Evil Horde. Before I get to the Horde, we have, of course, this guy, and his head's really loose. I never did fix it, so he's got the bobblehead. Bobble. And then we got a 2-pack of the Horde first that came with different damages you can have on there, or one was clean, one was damaged, which really stunk. So you wanted a nice clean Horde army, you had to get an awful lot of them in order to take the one out of each package. Otherwise, you'd have half of them have black spot damages on them. So what I used to do is I'd buy the 2-packs and I would sell the damaged one on eBay, so I could only have one damaged one left. And then we saw when you got this guy, I don't remember his name, we'll just call him Colonel Mustard for now until you guys tell me his name. When you got Colonel Mustard, he came with 3 special heads that looked like this. Here's one of them. Ah, Sunder, General Sunder, thank you. And this head here, and this head right here. And so I had to figure out something to do with these heads, because you can't just have these cool heads and just throw them on a Horde body. I mean, that just looks lame. I mean, so I decided to make it so each head would have its special ability. So here's the one that is a scuba one. And so I actually gave him feet that are actually scuba type feet, so he can, you know, actually perform his scuba acts. And then I gave him a weapon that looks like something you'd use under the water, like this top little missile thing would shoot off. And I got the parts from Spy Monkey to make it. I made a version 2 of this that I actually printed that actually uses an actual spear for a spear gun. But I don't see that in here. I think I might have sold them all. See, that's a problem. You start selling stuff on eBay. Pretty soon you sell ones you're like, oops, I didn't mean to sell that one. So, the second one I made was the purple guy. Really easy custom. Basically, I took General Sundar's hands because they were brown and they're easier to paint than the black to get it. And I just painted them purple, stuck them on there. And there you go. There is my purple people eater. And basically, it's the same thing we always see. SEAL Team Hordak. Yep. And then this head. This was the hardest to figure out what I wanted to do with. And I really spent a long time trying to figure out what to do with it. Unfortunately, I did alter the head. And I ended up coming up with this right here. And I used the black Batman suit from the 2-pack Superman Batman. And I cut a square hole in there. Used the Hordak symbol from those 3 figures that could or could not be Horde members. And then rubber banded this on his hand. Added some heat shrink on here to give him that. Painted this a dark gray. And there you go. There is one of my cool Horde figures to use that 3rd head. Hey, Apollinaire, thanks for joining us. Hey, Sludge Master is in the house. Thanks, James, for joining us. Sludge Master. And then another one that I made was the Horde Disguise, He-Man or Prince Adam. And I've made a couple of these before. This one right here uses General Sundar's body because it has a skin color neck. But one time in the past, I used Ninjor's torso on the inside so he had abs. On this one here, I just put a piece of heat shrink tubing on there because otherwise you end up with the robotic abs. And I didn't want the robotic abs for He-Man because that doesn't make a lot of sense. So, but it kind of bugs me that General Sundar has robotic stuff on his neck. I don't know if you can see that. Let me grab my extra light. Where did I stick it? There we go. Ugh. So you can see Sundar underneath his armor. It's hard to see on here because the armor goes up so high, but he has mechanical stuff on his neck. You can kind of see it a little bit down there. And so when you use it for a humanoid, then you end up with these mechanical skin, which doesn't make a lot of sense unless you're half cyborg and it's under your skin. But you can see that He-Man now has that, unfortunately. But the version I made using I forgot his name. What the heck? Ninjor figure actually was way cooler looking, but I ended up selling him too. So yeah, I do sell a lot of my stuff, as you guys know. Oh, here's my regular one without fins, because I wanted to do some regular ones that were just the normal heads. And that's about it, besides just some extra troopers that... Oh, wait, this is my general trooper. Oh, Dominoes. And you can see I added General Sundar's parts to give him his 2 guns. So I actually kind of mixed some Horde Troopers and General Sundar in order to make one that was like a captain version with the 2 guns on his legs and different boots. So you can't have all the Horde Troopers look identical completely. So let me go ahead and set some more troopers out here. Now, the guns I gave them are actually Queen Marlena's guns. They were used in the movie. I thought it would be a real cool thing to use for troopers. So I found people that were willing to sell their guns to me, and I just kept buying them and got enough. So all my Horde Troopers can each have one to hang on to. And you've probably seen it when you watch, there's another general figure. He's got the 2 guns again. But this one has black shoes instead of gray shoes. So he's a little bit lower ranking than the other one, because he doesn't get the gray shoes. And there's another Horde Trooper. Now, what's kind of crazy, if you take a look, when they released the single pack Horde Troopers, they were actually cleaner. You can tell the double pack ones because they have kind of this gray hue wash they put on it to give it kind of that really cool, realistic look. But sometimes they got a little crazy with it. If you take a look, you can just see that the single packed ones are a little cleaner and the armor fits slightly different. All right, I think that is all that I have when it comes to classics hordes. Now I do have, like I said, some duplicate figures of customs, but you can see that horde grows pretty quick with all the different characters they have in it. That's a good idea, Everett, to put Robato's head on a Horde Trooper. Hey, Court, thanks for joining us. How many troopers do I have? Well, let's see. Well, it's hard to count because you're going to count the custom ones. So I think I have 7 that are unaltered, because I think 7 is the number I like to use for infinity. So I think every time I want to have something that's infinite, it's either 7 or 13, because it's a prime number and it's hard to count in one shot sometimes. So I got 1, 2, 3. He's a custom. 4, 5. He's a custom. He's a custom. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 that are non-customized. Wait, there's one. Yep, 7. I have 7 Horde Troopers that are not customs. And I know it sounds funny, but when I used to collect any kind of army builders, I like to do either 7 or 13. That way then I could, as ones got knocked down, I would just bring more back in when they knocked down ones, so they had an infinite number. And when you have 4 or 5, it's easy to count. And for some reason, 8's easier to count too. It's 2 sets of 4, even 9, 3 sets of 3. But 7, it's not easy to take a quick glance and count 7, because your mind can't separate them into the batches of 2s and 3s, and because it's a prime number, you have to look at all 7 at once and say 7, which is a lot harder for people to count. So I like to use 7 or 13 for those reasons when I do my army builders. Hey Anthony, thanks for joining it. Yep, that odd number throws people off. That is the whole key, man. I know it sounds really weird. I think I have 13 of the little robots that go with Skeletor for that reason, because I wanted to have that number either 7 or 13 for those as well. That would be cool if we got a trooper in Origins. That would be fun. All right, so I'm going to close this out. Do you think of any other things I may have not shown you that I'm missing besides the Super 7 stuff? Because I didn't want to get into the Filmation ones. That just muddies the waters a little too much. What do we have here? Here are the other pieces that go with the Dial-A-Mug, and I thank you for telling me the name of that guy. Just out of curiosity, which one do you like better out of this guy? Do you like the regular, the 2000X one, or the where'd he go? Where's the one without the fur? Oh, I left him out here. I have 2 of the same on the battlefield at once. or the non-fur one. So let me know which one you like better out of these three. 2000X, regular, no fur. So post them in the comments. How to make the flippers for Sea Trooper. The way I made the flippers was I actually used that guy from New Adventures. I can't think of his name now off the top of my head. He's a good guy, and he wears green, and he's got the helmet on his head. When my kids were younger, we used to call him Steve. I don't know his real name, but I'm sure someone's... Oh, Hydron, I think his name is. Oh, No Fur? Thanks, you guys. And so I used Hydron's feet and just took them off and painted them black. Is all that I did. So where is that trooper? There he is. I'm gonna knock over more guys, aren't I? So there you go. There's his black painted feet for the flippers. All right, so somebody asked about the Cringer Heads. Right now there's one Cringer Head still on eBay, and it's actually doing a lot better than I expected it to ever do, so that is awesome. I'm hoping to get more out. Right now my 3D printer is on the fritz, so I have to stop doing stuff, so the only things that I've already made I'm selling. So for the slime pits, I have one that somebody already ordered that I'm painting today. I have one left that's already printed that I haven't painted yet. And for the Cringer Heads, I have only 2 more in the works right now that I haven't started painting yet. So that's where those sit right now. And I don't know how many more I'm going to make. So there'll probably only be 3 Cringer Heads going out. 2 more that will be painted probably. So there's still a chance. And maybe when I get my printer fixed, I'll make some more after that. Could you have used Merman's feet for a trooper? Well, Merman's feet is the exact same as Skeletor's feet. I mean, you could have done that, but I like the flipper idea because that would be more humanoid and don't have the 3 toes, even though it does have 3 things on it. But they just look more flippery than Merman's feet do. So, James, if you click the link that I have in the description, that actually will take you to one of my closed auctions for the slime pit, and then click on there from there to go to Hebro's other things for sale, and you will find the things I have up for sale right now. Can you 3D print a new 3D printer? Unfortunately, it's the LCD display that's on the fritz right now. And so I have another LCD display on coming to me in the mail. Should be here in a few weeks. And then I'll have to take my machine apart and put it in there. All right, I didn't talk much about the Blue Hordak. Here's the Blue Hordak. Again, I'm not a Hordak fan. I know it sounds funny. I keep saying that, but I got so many Hordaks. And I made a thing for Hordak to ride. But I don't know. Anyway, and it's fun too because he has the arm cannon that you could actually plug a little claw hand into. I don't know why they didn't make this to work with the spinning parts. Let me just double check to make sure it doesn't work. They go in there, but they just fall right back out. That would have been cool if they would have made it so you can at least use the parts in there. Now, it is fun is if you are daring, you can take this arm and take it off right here at this spot and put another one on this side too, and then take the top half from flip shot, and then use flip shop's upper arm on this side and make that work too. So it is something you can do if you want to make 2 arms the same, or even better, this is probably a better way to do it. Hold on a second. I have a much better idea. Oh, see, here's the claw one. I just have an extra arm like that. But he does have a humanoid arm too, I believe. Now I can't find it. Anyway, if you were to get another blue humanoid left arm and just use the first part as the humanoid part and just change the cannon out on both of them, that would probably look more like Hordak with 2 of cannon arms too. All right, let's take a look at the comments coming in. Let's see. I prefer the non-fur one because although the furred one is a nice feature, I find it less pleasing in terms of scale. The furry humanoid creature wouldn't really look that fuzzy and fluffy in my opinion. That is true. Anthony, I really like the way you think, man. Hey, bro, do you have a video on how you shaved off Tila's knee? I do have a video on that. Yep. And so just go to my videos and search Tila knee, and those two should be able to get you to the video to find it. I think there's 2 videos on it. Let's see. Jeff says the blast effect came with Super 7 Shadow Weaver that fits into Hordak's. Oh, that's cool. Thanks, man. Did they ever make a Hordak in rocket mode? Now, I made one time, and it looked bad. It looked like it was bought from one of those interesting shops from downtown, and the shape of it was just bad. And so I ended up smashing with a hammer. I tried to make it a sculpty. I just used a Hordak's head on it. I put little fins on it. But every time I would show it to people, I would get so many comments that were just lewd and crude. I decided just to get rid of my rocket version Hordak that I made. I did make one time for 3D printing, but Shapeways wanted over $100 for it, and so it wasn't worth it. So I ended up not doing the rocket mode. All right. So let's see. I think that's pretty much it. Todd, it's the Q-tip end of the blast effect that fits in the... Okay, thanks. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to make another rocket form or not. Like I said, I might. That might be a cool idea. I do have a friend who is doing 3D printing, and the guy is really good at making sci-fi stuff. Maybe I can get with him to help him create the Hordak rocket. I mean, the guy does some amazing work. My friend Steve, you guys have seen his drawings. He's now making these really awesome sci-fi models, and his 3D skills are getting better. Every time I see him, he improves by leaps and bounds. Hey, Mike, thanks for joining us. So, Sledgemaster, I might try to make that rocket form. I'll let you know. So, all right. Well, you guys, thanks for joining me. It's funny. Eventually, you get all kinds of crazy spare parts left over from those figures that you different attachments on. Like here's the legs I didn't show you, the purple ones. I only got one set of them, but it's just funny all the little chunks and pieces you have left over when you're done. So, my favorite out of all of these, you probably have guessed, is my Sarcophagus. That is my favorite thing out of all the Horde stuff. Like I said, I spent almost 2 years getting all the parts together and making it. I made 2 of them, sold one, kept the other. I think that is the coolest. You guys let me know what you think is the coolest custom of mine that you've seen. Whether it's the extra rock guy, or whether it's the simple one like just throwing the armor on the zombie one, or the snake pit extension, or the Lego guy for Hordak, or you know what it is you like. Or if you like the fish guy, or the Batman conversion, or my Super Hordak that has 2 functions in one. Let me know what's your favorite. Let's take a look and see if anybody posted something. Thanks, all music fan. Oh, the suction cups. Yes. And those suction cups are actually cell phone stands that look like little plungers you buy. And they're made to stick on the back of your cell phone, and it has a little wooden stick. And it's basically to be a little plunger to hold it up. Actually, I have one over here, I think, behind Castle Grayskull. Let me take a look here. Yes, I do. So here's what they look like. And it's funny is because Castle Grayskull has the throne, and in my throne room I have something that looks just like this next to my throne. I thought it'd be funny to put it in Castle Grayskull next to the throne. But it's just a little plunger. And basically you can get it different colors. And I decided to take the green ones and make it. In retrospect, I wish I would have used the black ones, because I found out paint does not stick to these. And the green is just the wrong shade of green. And it's been driving me crazy for years. You can see all the different layers of paint that I kept trying to put on there. It just keeps cracking off. And if I would have used black, it just would have probably been more aesthetically pleasing to begin with. But, you know, hindsight's 20/20. So there you go. All right. Let's check last check comments. Yeah, and these are only like 99 cents a piece. You can pick them up pretty cheap on eBay or something. If you want to help me out, click my link below, then search for these. That'd be cool. Thanks, Anthony. I appreciate it. Yep, the Super Hordak is cool, and I have a whole video just on him. So if you want to check out more about that Hordak, there's a whole video just on that. All right. Well, you guys, like always, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys joining me. Like I said, I've been putting this off now for about a week or two, so I'm glad I finally got it done today. Yep. So thanks so much, you guys. I will talk to you guys next video. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and if you're interested in the Slime Pit extension, click the link below. Check it out. Find me on Facebook. And when our printer starts working again, maybe I'll make some more of them. All right, you guys. You guys have a good week as well. Thanks, Anthony. See you, Matt.